Alright fellas, now Usyk and Fury faced off for the first time ahead of their big rematch, and even though we're a couple months out, the games have already begun. And yes, that's Usyk coming dressed as the Hitman. The first bout was such a historic matchup and left all of us looking forward to the rematch. Yet after the fight, how Fury has been handling the loss has left us all wondering how he will be in the lead up for the rematch. The press conference was our first glimpse into this, as they both head into their camps for the big fight. I want to talk about everything that went down and all that you might have missed from the press conference, so buckle up. And also, if you love everything boxing, make sure to subscribe. I'll always do my best to keep you informed. Now, Usyk v Fury will easily go down as one of the bigger fights of the decade. The fight for all the marbles to finally unify the heavyweight belts for the first time in a couple decades. And we're set to see the two of them back in the ring for the rematch. This time though, for only 3 of the belts. Although this is slightly disappointing, it doesn't take away from the hype surrounding this fight. After Fury took the first loss of his career, there were questions around how he would take such a significant loss. Let's be honest, the ego in Fury is huge, and him taking a loss to a bloke he just saw as a little cruiserweight after giving so much trash talk must have hurt. And he didn't do himself any favours in the period since the fight. Yet I don't think too much emphasis should be put on these post-fight images. Fury's always been a party sort of man. Sometimes it has been to his detriment, but with the rematch on the horizon straight after the loss, I can't see this really being an issue. The press conference quietly came about and was really only announced a few days prior. Straight away, I love what Usyk is doing. Now the bloke obviously loves a bit of banter, yet he's almost flipping the script on Fury. Fury was once known for his outrageous costumes and stunts at press conferences, yet Usyk is almost beating him at his own game. The atmosphere going into the press conference was destined to be a bit more lighthearted. The two have come across each other since their big fight, and it hasn't been anything overly tense nor negative. In the actual press conference, there was a lot of talk from promoters and not much talk from the fighters. Usyk is usually a man of very few words anyway, and he once again was exactly that. Yet although it was bantering, he looked as focused as usual, and it's clear he's there for business. The most interesting bits from Fury though came outside of the actual press conference. Just before that, in terms of the face-off that they had, I'm not one of these boxing fans who buys into the takes of body language experts, who think, well, his posture's slightly off and he blinked twice, that means he's super nervous. Yet what I did find interesting from the face-off was Fury's inability to keep it business, with him trying to tickle Usyk, and this is a bit of a trend we have seen with Fury against Usyk, that we really haven't seen Fury do with other fighters before. You think about it, even in the fight we saw this sort of playful fake banter from Fury. It's either he just thinks he's hilarious and it's almost an ego move, feeling comfortable to do that sort of behaviour because he doesn't rate Usyk, or it's a coping mechanism he's using to negate whatever stress or anxiety the situation presents. Fury does play around, but I don't think we've ever seen it to this extent. Yet, I'll let you decide. Let me know what you think down below. Other than the face-off, an unfortunate note that Fury stated was that leading to the first fight, in the days before the fight, his wife suffered a miscarriage. Now, boxing aside, you have to really feel for the Fury family. I don't see this though as him making excuses about the fight. If they wanted to use it as an excuse, they would have said it straight after or in the days after, not a few months after. If they chose to say it in the days after the fight, it would have been taken as an excuse rather than, hey, this is what my family has genuinely been going through. So I'm not even going to give the time of day to people saying that he was using this as an excuse. In some of the other post-fight interviews, Fury seemed to switch between a normal Tyson Fury that we're used to and a bit of a strange one. Most of the normal mouthing off came after the official press conference. The only thing which genuinely did concern me though was Tyson Fury talking about how he's only now just fighting for the money. Although he claimed he's always been fighting for the money, the hunger to earn your first millions is completely different to just adding to a comfy pile to just buy another car. For Usyk, boxing is his life. For Fury, he said if it wasn't for the money he'd be doing something else, which is a bit of a contradiction to what he has said previously numerous times. I also didn't like him saying he wants to go out like a Frazier or an Ali, boxing till he physically can't. I don't like that talk about that because if you know anything about boxing history, although fighters like Muhammad Ali have left some of the greatest marks on the sport, their exit from it wasn't anything to be glamorized. You also hope he isn't saying this as a reflection of where he truly believes his current boxing ability is at. And this sort of talk is a bit of a reflection that this could be one of the last times we see Tyson Fury in the ring. The Fury camp also seems to think this might be one of the last times we also see him in the ring. Of course, no one talks about a potential loss, but his brother Shane Fury said he either sees the Usyk trilogy or a potential Anthony Joshua matchup next. If Fury loses this upcoming fight, an additional loss to Joshua could be horrific for his legacy. So if he loses this, it could be the last bout we see him in. But that's a whole different conversation which I won't get into. I don't want to lean heavily into speculation, but the genuine belief Fury seemed to have prior seems to have been slightly weakened, and that's expected after a loss. As the rollout of the promotion continues, only time will tell if that's in fact true. Yet it's still very early days, but one thing's for certain, that it'll definitely be an interesting watch. Now let me know all your thoughts about the press conference and what you expect from this upcoming fight down below. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, it does a ton to help the channel. But thanks for watching fellas, and I'll catch you in the next one.